Hi, drawing. So let's take a look at what you have to do for the 2-point perspective assignment. So in this assignment, you're either going to have to do a corner. I'm sorry, you will either have to do an exterior building or an interior corner. So for the last assignment, we did 1-point perspective, which is how this fresco is painted by Raphael. And if we go down to our little chart, just to review, here's the vanishing point, and then there's 1-point perspective. I'm sorry, there's one vanishing point on the left, and then there's one vanishing point on the right, where he's using 2-point perspective, and then the 1-point perspective, which are represented by these white orthogonal lines. So in this example, in this painting, we see that 2-point perspective is being used. This is a corner, and I'm going to try and explain a little bit more carefully how how drawing an interior would work, because drawing an exterior, I'm sorry, an exterior building is a little bit more straightforward than an interior building. And here's the little diagram for how to do an exterior building, and I'm going to explain how you do an interior building, and maybe I will add the images in here for you guys so you have that for reference. Okay, so let's talk about, oh, I'm sorry. And one more thing here, I have included these videos, which will help. So make sure you watch them. These two are for the exterior and these two are for the interior. But what I want to talk about is the interior, because it is a little bit more complex than, I don't want to say complex, but it's less straightforward than doing an exterior. So when you're doing an interior, when you're doing an interior corner, let me just make sure all my images are in the right order here. When you're doing an interior corner, you have to kind of think about the vanishing points. You're going to start off with a horizon line. And actually, it doesn't really matter how you start off, but theoretically, this would be your horizon line, and the left side would converge to this. So you see the green lines are converging to this green X, and the red lines are converging to this red X. So that will give you your corner, which means that your vanishing points are kind of like mirrored on the other side, which is not the case with, see if I can find it, which is not the case when you're doing an exterior. Well, they are mirrored, but they're mirrored in a different way. The interior vanishing points are kind of like counter mirrored. I don't know how you would say it. So this vanishing point is here, and then that vanishing point is there, and all these lines, all the red lines are converging back to this red X, and all the green lines and corners and edges converge to that green X if they are not vertical lines. So 2-point perspective, everything will converge except for the vertical lines. So here's the next part of this equation. So we see from here, this person has added green lines that go to that green X, and then the red lines that go to that red X. So all the green lines are going to go to the green X, and all the red lines are going to go to the red X. So here you go. We have green lines here, and then we have green lines here, and then all the red lines go to this X. And then the next part, or the next step, would be they decided to add a window. So the top of the window and the bottom of the window are going this to this X. And then the door, they decided to add a door from the last image. And that's the top and the bottom of the door. The top and bottom edges of the door are going to go to the green X. Now, we have this door, the open door here, which is, this would be correct as long as as long as the door was open on a 90-degree angle. If you have an open door, it becomes a little bit more, you know, a little more squirrely. So just keep that in mind. If it's open at another angle, it's not, I'd actually would have to draw it to really fully understand, but it's not necessarily going to go to this red X here. So just be careful when you're drawing these that you're looking very carefully at your draw. I will also say that when you draw these, there is going to be some sort of, some level of, you're not drawing them. Again, you guys are not a camera, you're a human. So you should draw them the way that you see them, but you also want to make sure that you're following the rules and the principles of perspective. Okay, so this is the same image. So I'm going to close this window because we don't need that. And that's really the last image that I have that I want to show you with these. Or actually, let's open this one. Let's see if this one is. So here they've eliminated all the, let's put this here. They've eliminated all the construction lines here. Oops, I don't know why my screen is not behaving. Okay, they've eliminated all the construction lines in this image. Where's the other image? I'm missing an image. What's this? Okay, they've eliminated the construction lines, but you see, here we go. That's it. You see how this drawing has progressed, right? Here's another image. This image is very poor quality. I mean, shouldn't be. So hold on, let me see if I can pause this for just a second. Okay, I'm back. So here's the image. Now it's really big. So here's the image of kind of how this works. So any lines that are on the top or the bottom that are not vertical are gonna converge either to this vanishing point or to this vanishing point. And this is kind of the, in the assignment description, if we look at this drawing, I've also included this image to show you where those converging lines are going. So when you look at your drawing, or when you look at your exterior or interior corner, you have to think to yourself, okay, well, if this is my page, the vanishing points are probably going to be outside. They most likely, like 95% of the time, the way that we see things, if you're going to frame it in a page, well, I don't want to say that, but for this, your vanishing points will 95% be outside of your picture plane if you're doing an interior corner or even an exterior corner. It doesn't matter, but you have to look at what you're drawing and say, well, here's my page, and then you have to imagine where those vanishing points are going to be, and you can kind of like guesstimate by looking at what you're doing, and just kind of like imagining your viewfinder. You can use your viewfinder that we use in the negative space assignment for this to kind of determine where those vanishing points are going to be, in relation to the edges of your 18 by 24 pad. So I hope this helps to explain that a little bit better. Here again, this is to review the difference between 1-point and 2-point perspective. And then here is a little kind of, again, the charts are a little harder to understand, but you're essentially drawing a box here. Let's go over this too, just in case you need it. The vanishing points are on the outside, and then you have this leading edge, which is the edge that's closest to you. And that would go this way, and then this line would go that way, and then this would go this way, and that would go that way. And then this back line, since it's parallel with this line, is also going to go there. And then this back line, since it's parallel with this line, when you think about the base of the house, would go this direction. And then you'd find the center point here if you had a roof. If the roof was, really in the middle, you'd find the center point and you'd draw that line up. and then the top edge of the roof would go back to that left vanishing point, and then you'd put in the other corresponding edges. So that's the center, so you'd put a point there, and then you'd connect those 2 points. Okay, so that is how you guys would draw these. Again, if you need help, email me. You can jump on for office hours and we can do the best we can on the computer to try and draw these. Or if you want to meet me on campus, if I can get to campus, I will meet you on a Friday. If you want to do that, a Friday afternoon. Let's see. So here are 2 videos of people doing this. I'm not going to play the video on the video, but you guys are going to watch the videos depending on which one you're going to do. And then let's just look at what you have to do. So the way I want you to do this is you're going to do 2 practice drawings, and then you're going to do 1 final drawing. And these were done in my in-person class. This was actually done on an online class. I thought they did a pretty good job with that. You can, you should add some level of detail, especially if you're doing, an exterior. If you're doing an exterior, the building becomes a little bit easier to construct. So you should add some landscaping details as best you can. Since we haven't gotten to this part, we haven't gotten to shading yet, but do the best you can. Or you can keep it relatively simple. Like this person has kept it relatively simple. They've added, darker areas here to just indicate that there's a little bit of shading going on, and just some minimal details. But the perspective is what I'm really looking for in this assignment, and the perspective in this drawing is correct, as they are in all the drawings here. The interior, it's a little bit more of a complex way to construct the drawing, so you can stick to lines. You can stick to all contour lines here. I think these 2 people did a very nice job. Obviously, it's the same hallway done by different people, so it's interesting to see the differences in how they're interpreting what they're drawing, but they're still both correctly done in perspective. And let's see if I can. Okay, so here's what you're turning in. So you're going to, for the first part of this assignment, you're going to do 1 theoretical. And now keep it simple. If you are having trouble with it, keep it simple. I'd rather you do it correctly and have it be simple than be so complex and incorrect, right? Keep it simple. It'll also help you get to the point, to the next point. Doing something simple is going to be easier than doing something complex. So it'll help you get to the complex part. If you want to make, if you're deciding you want to do a complex building, it'll help you get there. So you're doing 1 theoretical, and then you're going to do 1 practice sketch. This doesn't have to be as detailed as this finished drawing does, but you're going to do a practice sketch of your finished drawing to give you that practice of looking at your subject and drawing it out before you actually do the final drawing. Now, the way I want you to do this is I want you to turn your 18 by 24 page in landscape orientation. You're going to split it in half. You can fold it if you want to do it that way. It's a little faster. And then you're going to drop a horizon line on the top, and you're going to drop a horizon line on the bottom, and you'll put your corner or your building in either way that way. You're going to be drawing a little bit smaller scale, but it's okay, because again, it'll help you understand how to do the final piece. And then when you do the final piece, decide, usually the building, what you want to do is you want to put the building, you want to do a view where the building is on the horizon line, because if you're looking up at it, it starts to look weird. And if you're looking down from like a bird's eye versus a worm's eye, it starts to look a little strange, because when we see a building, we usually see it like on the horizon line, because our eye level is, our eye level represents the horizon line, which is about here in this drawing, and that's usually how we are viewing the building. So make sure that the building is on the horizon line. This one is on the horizon line. This one is done from a bird's eye perspective, and if it was on the top of the vanishing. If the building was up over here, it would be a worm's eye. So I would stick to on, just a regular, put the building on the perspective. So there should be part of the building on the top and part of the building on the bottom of the horizon line. And then I'm going to ask you, oh, and I didn't, I'm going to ask you to include a photo. Let's see, a photo of your building for reference. Actually, let's see if I can do this. It's a little, okay, here we go. So there's the photo. And again, you guys are not cameras, you're humans. So take that into consideration as you're doing the drawing. Remember that everybody sees things a little bit differently, even though you will see it in perspective. Everybody's drawing is going to be a little different, even though it is, just like here that we see here, it's the same corner, but they interpret it a little bit differently. They were also at different angles, but if you look at both drawings, you can see what kinds of details they decided to include, and just how they vary just a little bit. So hopefully this helps. If you guys have questions, send me an email, and if not, I will see you on Canvas.